What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and TV. Today, on a new episode of Fresh Cuts, we're sitting down to talk about the blockbuster of the spring so far, Marvel's newest movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, is the wonderful Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
So, we all know how this works. So what we do is we talk non-spoilers in the beginning, and then we will yell, spoilers! That means get out if you haven't seen this movie yet and you don't want to be spoiled. Go watch the movie, then come back and watch the rest of our review. All right? We don't go through the entire plot, from beginning to end like we do with our normal podcast episodes, but we will talk about stuff that happens in the movie with spoilers eventually. So we will let you know. All right. So, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. What did we think of the movie? DNA Gaming.
I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I don't think what else I can say about it other than that. I know, right? I'm not helping today.
We're really good at the non-spoiler stuff.
No.
All this stuff to say.
It's not a spoiler thing. I'm trying to word how I want this to go. I thought the movie was very engaging when I was watching it. I thought the effects are pretty good. There were some really cool references to Sam Raimi's other work, which is great because you could kind of see his talents, the horror director, come out in this movie, which is great. And yeah, I thought it was fun, enjoyable movie to watch, and I enjoyed the payoff at the end. There were some neat surprises in the film, and some people that I would really love to see reprise their roles after this film. So I enjoyed it. That was good.
I loved it. I loved it a lot. There was only one part that I could have done without, but we'll get to that in the spoilers because I can't say any. But I loved it.
All right. There it is. There it is, everybody.
I mean, I can't add more.
I know.
What
It's so
he
hard.
said, so.
Like I always say, people who do like 30-minute non-spoiler reviews of movies and shows, you're nuts. Don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. It's so hard. I had a blast with this movie. I'm gonna bring the opinion of a 10-year-old into, so I went and saw it with my son, and after the movie was over, I was so amped up by this movie, and I went, "Hey, what'd you think?" And he went, "It was fine. The first one's better." And I was like, "Ah!" I was in pain.
It was a movie.
I mean, it was pretty funny. It was just kind of like stone cold. Just look at me. He's like, "It was fine. First one's better." So there it is. There is a quick non-spoiler review from my 10-year-old son. So there you go. I had a blast with it though. To be honest, I really liked the first Doctor Strange, but to be honest, when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Doctor Strange is like, if he just kind of disappeared, I wouldn't care. Like, his character just doesn't, I don't really care about Doctor Strange at all, or like the characters from his, his source material. I just don't, it just doesn't, I'm not into, I don't know. I'm just not really into like the magic part of it. I think his whole thing is he's a sorcerer. So he does magic, and that's the thing, like with Wanda, she is also, she's a witch. So she does magic, but I feel more attached to her just based on what she's done throughout the cinematic universe more than Doctor Strange. I still feel like he's so new, even though he's not. I think the first movie came out in 2016. So he's been in the universe for 6 years now, and he's very crucial to everything that has happened before, as part of the, Infinity Saga. He's a crucial part. So it's, you couldn't really take him away. I've just never been a huge fan of, it's not even just the movies. I think it's just Doctor Strange as a character, could really care less about him. But I think they did, giving Sam Raimi the the reins on this. You could feel it from beginning to end that this was Sam Raimi. And this wasn't Spider-Man Sam Raimi. This is like Evil Dead Sam Raimi. Like this is when, him going back and doing his, back to his horror roots. And you see things in this movie, you were like, what? There was times where things would happen. I was just like, what did I just watch? Did they really just do that in a Marvel movie? Like, yeah, we've seen people die. We've seen some pretty messed up stuff in Marvel, but Sam Raimi turned it up to like 11 in this movie with some of the tragic ends to some characters. And
definitely, I think you pushed that PG-13 barrier just a little bit.
Oh yeah. And that was a lot of people's complaints about it. Like people came out of this movie, it's like, oh, don't let your kids see it. And I bring my oldest son, I bring him to all the Marvel movies and movies I feel that are appropriate for him to go see. And I asked him afterwards, like, was it scary? Were you scared? He's like, no, there was some like parts where it kind of made me jump, but it was nothing over the top. Because he's seen some movies at home that he probably shouldn't, but I might have had the original Evil Dead on, and he's walked through and seen some of the weird shit that goes on in those movies, so he knows. But yeah, I love the imagery in this movie. I love Elizabeth Olsen, and I think she's just so good at being the character that she is in this movie. Her turn to this completely different Wanda that we've never seen before, even in WandaVision. Because if you think about it, this is a sequel to WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange is just there, and he helps try to mend things that are happening because of the events of WandaVision. Mm-hmm. You could call this a Doctor Strange sequel, but it's more of a Wanda sequel for WandaVision. And the thing is, for me, when I watched this movie, I was like, I don't feel there was really a solid villain in this movie. It was because there was so much more to the character who is the villain of this movie and the reasonings behind why they do what they do. And it's, it's tragic. It's disturbing. The cameos were awesome. A lot of cameos. A lot of characters I really hope come back. Like, you guys said in the beginning, I hope, we'll get to that in the spoilers, but a lot of really cool cameos. And probably my favorite cameo is it's not even somebody who's even relevant to the universe. But when I saw this person, I said, hell yes. And what happens to him in this movie, I was like, Sam Raimi, you fucking genius. Thank you for putting a smile on my face, because when that scene happens, I was probably maybe me and a couple other people who were older in the theater reacted to the scene, because everybody else just had no idea who the person was, why that scene was so funny. We'll get to that in the spoilers, because I really want to talk about it. Also, can movies stop crediting actors who are in a movie for 30 seconds? So there's a scene in the movie where you see a character from the prior film. You see that the doc, I can't remember what the hell he's another doctor. He worked with Strange in the hospital in the first one. He's credited as like the third or fourth actor on the credits, and he's in the movie for that one specific scene in this. I can't stand when movies do that. And this guy's a good actor. I've seen him in, he was in Men in Black 3. He was in a show, that Dope Sick, I watched recently. He's a really good actor. But it's like, why are you crediting people who are literally in the movie for like, no joke, 30 seconds? It's really annoying. Stop it. I know, stupid things I should be mad about, or that I shouldn't be mad about, but it drives me crazy.
I understand. This movie felt like an excuse to just talk about the multiverse more.
I feel that's what Phase 4 is all about. Phase 4 is literally the multiverse phase.
Yeah.
This is
already building to our big villain.
Yeah.
Eventually.
So this movie, of course, we've already talked about it. This was directed by Sam Raimi. If you don't know who Sam Raimi is, you are living under a rock. He literally directed probably one of the weirdest horror trilogies of all time, the Evil Dead trilogy back in the 80s and early 90s. And then, of course, he helped. I mean, there were superhero movies before it, but he brought Spider-Man to the big screen. Like he helped bring, put Spider-Man on the map with the Spider-Man trilogy from the early 2000s. And you could feel there was some scenes where it felt like that, that first Spider-Man, like some scenes on the rooftops. It really felt like that same feel. But Sam Raimi, man, he just give him more movies to direct in the MCU because this was freaking awesome. Just his tone throughout, you could feel it. It was great. This came in at a little over 2 hours, about 2 hours and 6 minutes. The budget was $200 million. And as of right now, I mean, it's still in theaters. It is at $703.8 million. So it's actually outpacing Spider-Man No Way Home at this point. So, and it's probably just going to keep making more money. Oh, a lot of people were like, because it had like a 68% drop off in its second week. Yeah, it still has almost $1 billion. And people are like, oh,
scary.
Oh no, what's going to happen? Marvel's dying.
Is it?
The one thing I have to talk about, and it's not even just this movie, but it's in recent just Marvel properties between the shows and the movies. The CG is weird. Like, I feel like the CG is getting worse as we got past Endgame. It was just so good. The special effects, the visual effects, the special, it's all different. I know. Yell at me in the comments all you want. But visually, certain things looked weird in this movie, like wonky. Like even when I just went over all of Moon Knight, CG in some of the episodes are awful. Like it doesn't even feel like it's Marvel. It feels like it was CG that was done in the early 2000s. It's weird. Like I don't know what's going on with Marvel and the visual effects departments that are being tasked to do these movies, but they just don't look as good as what we were getting in the Infinity Saga. Because it was so good. I mean, you look at just the final battle scene in Endgame, how many characters are in there and the CG, how much CG is used, and it looks so good, but yet they can't get Moon Knight's suit to look good in Moon Knight when you first see it. It's like, and then it's the same in this. Like there's some scenes that just kind of threw me off just because the visual effects just didn't feel good. I don't know. And people and to be honest, as we're recording this, the trailer for She-Hulk just came out, and the CG looks awful. It looks terrible.
Haven't seen it yet.
So, spoiler alert: the CG for She-Hulk, at least for her, looks terrible. So, I don't know what's going on over at Marvel and their visual effects departments, but we need to be looking into this because if you're going to be making movies and shows on this, on this level, it needs to look good visually throughout, in my opinion.
You want it to look good.
Right. You want to tell a good story, but you also want to make it look good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's enough non-spoilers as of right now. Let's hop into these spoilers. All right. Let's go around and talk about our thoughts on this movie. Full of spoilers. Spoilers. Get out of here if you haven't seen this movie. Seriously. Because I don't want people getting mad because we spoiled it. So get out of here and then come back.
Go watch this and Evil Dead and come back.
Yes.
Then you're allowed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do that. That's great. I wasn't even thinking of that. All right. Hit it off.
Okay. Could have gone without the scene with him fighting with the musical notes. I hated it. I thought it was cheesy.
It just felt weird.
That's damn Raimi weird.
But it felt forced. Like it's you're seeing all this fighting, and then the pages go up in the air, and he's like, "Oh, idea."
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
That was my only part that I hated. Like, truly, like, no. It just felt out of place with the whole
Yeah, it went on too long. I think
yeah.
if he did it like the initial attack was with the music notes, but then it just turns into a regular fight, that would have felt better. It just felt like it was just too and it was so slow. Like
It
when
was
he's like
very slow.
summoning them to
Y
do it, and it's just like, what?
yeah.
Why is it taking so long?
Yeah, it was just cheesy.
I agree. I agree. It was
I
very,
I
very weird
agree with
scene.
that.
I did love um, when Wanda Maximoff becomes Scarlet Witch, like, that scene where it flashes and she's just, like, full on Scarlet Witch, like
Mhm.
When they're in their mind.
yeah, like, I loved that. I wish there was more of that. Yes, in her mind.
Wanda scared the shit out of me in this movie. Like some of the things that she does. The scene inside the temple or the what's like the sacred place that they all go?
Oh shit, I know what you're talking about. Yep. The where the sorcerers and stuff all
Yeah.
go, Sorcerer Supreme and shit like
Yeah,
that.
they're there. Until we can think of what it is. They're there and they're inside and they're covering all the puddles. And
Mhm.
Wanda is trapped in the spikes. And then she knows she can use the puddles, the water to get her. And she comes out of a freaking like the thing, and she comes out of something, and she comes out like freaking Pennywise from It, just like where her head is backwards and she like crawls out. I was like, yes. I was like, it was like one of those moments like, wow, I was not expecting that, but it was awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't giving a fuck.
No. But this truly showed, I feel, the power that she has because
Yeah.
you know she's strong, but you don't really fully see it until
I
and it's
mean,
probably not
yeah,
even close to what she can do,
right.
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, you know she's strong.
Yeah. What about you, Dan? What's stuck out for
This
you?
this movie, a portion of this movie is House of M without mutants. That's what this fucking movie is. Because it literally hits on a lot of the key notes of House of M. This comic book it ran in the early 2000s, I want to say. It's in the comics, Wanda realizes her kids aren't real. Spoilers, but we're talking about them. Realizes their kids aren't real, goes crazy, says fuck it, no more mutants, and blinks almost every mutant out of existence. She kind of does something very similar in this story as well, but it's a little bit different and not nearly as impactful. Um, John Krasinski is needs to be Mr. Fantastic. Reed Richards has to
I'm
be.
so
It's the best
happy.
cameo outside of the the obvious homage that I'm going to let you talk about from Sam Raimi's other films. John Krasinski was a fantastic Reed Richards, and he was in the movie for like 5 minutes. Like I
Yeah.
want him back. I want
Yeah.
him back as Reed Richards, please. Don't do A Quiet Place Part 3. Do Fantastic Four, please. Um,
But then they would have to find 3 others to
oh fuck them. Just John Krasinski. Just
just
don't figure the
him.
other
No,
ones out. Don't
you
worry
got
about
John
it.
Krasinski, and then you just bring in his wife to play Sue because she's a great actress and she could probably nail Sue Storm. I mean, if Jessica Alba
Probably.
could partially do it, she could fully do it, you know?
And they'll just CG the thing, so it won't matter.
Exactly.
And they'll just bring Chris Evans back for Human Torch. And um, they would. I liked like I won't go into them. I'll let you talk about it. But I like the kills. They're pretty good, pretty graphic for the most graphic that's ever been in any Marvel like
Right?
film. I would say easily like MCU film.
That whole scene,
Oh,
I just
man.
all of
love
them.
I love this about Marvel comic books and movies and superhero stuff in general is how expendable versions of the same characters from different universes, if it has
Yeah.
no impact on anything, are. It's so
Yep.
funny to me.
Yep.
I mean, it's still it's a spectacle, but it's funny to me. There's some, like I said, there's some pretty cool cameo or nods to other Sam Raimi stuff. Yeah, I like the effect they did for Zombie Strange and the end of the movie.
Yes.
Not I'm not talking about the wing thing. That was neat and all. I mean, just like his
The
face
way he
looked.
looks. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I thought
very
like his
Deadite like
yes,
looking from
very
Evil
cool.
Dead. Very
Mhm.
cool.
Um, yeah, I did. Yeah, I mean, it was cool to see some other cameos like Professor Xavier showing up. That was neat.
Right.
Carter being back. That was also cool.
I like her jetpack.
Yeah, Jetpack's cool. Jetpack's cool. But yeah, I don't know. It was good. I like how it like build toward the end. But
Yeah.
there's one thing that happened in this movie that I was kind of a little upset that, or one thing they didn't do that I thought they were going to in this movie was they didn't really do jack and shit with Mordo, which really kind of bothered me
Yeah.
a little bit.
So in the trailer, you get the uh, you get the idea that Mordo, it's the Mordo from 1 that he
Yeah,
has found Strange and you kind of get this feeling like Mordo was supposed to be the villain based on the trailer. Like Wanda was
yep.
there, but Wanda, you never really got a full effect on if Wanda was going to be, and I'm going to do it in quotes because I don't, I might not be, I might be the very few who think this, but I don't feel she's a villain because of what she's trying to accomplish, and I feel people are trying to hold her back, and that was the reason why she does what she does. I don't consider her a villain, even though she does some fucked up things in this movie.
Yeah.
I think it's because they knew they had a movie they were making with a character that gets possessed by a book, so they had to have Sam Raimi,
Uh-huh.
and it was just I think it was the book. We
Right. The
already
Dark
talked about the
Hold.
book. The
Yeah.
Darkhold Scarlet Witch thing was someone possessing her, and
Yep.
admittedly, she used it knowing that she shouldn't because she made a poor choice,
Right.
and they kind of talk about they hint to that
Right.
uh earlier in the film, and it kind of all comes full circle. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah. And yeah, when you see Mordo in the trailer, you're like, oh, okay, so he's back. He's, at the end of the first one, his goal was he was going around and getting rid of people who use magic. Like,
Mhm.
and that was his whole thing. And so when you see him, you're in the trailer, you're like, oh, okay, so we're gonna get this kind of battle between Strange and Mordo. Also, Wanda's round doing whatever she's doing, and it's gonna be Mordo trying to kill Strange because of who Strange is. But the more that you don't get that, and that's kind of one of the there are some plot holes,
Mhm.
mega plot holes in this movie. One of them is Mordo. You don't see that Mordo. What universe is the normal universe?
I
616?
think it's 6161 because I think the regular Marvel Comics universe is 1616, but I could
Yeah.
be wrong. I
And
think it
then
just flip
the
flops.
and then the one that had the Illuminati was 838, right?
I think so, something like that.
So you only
But
see the 838 Mordo
yeah, which
who
admittedly may not be a plot hole. He just may not have just utilized his character yet.
right.
So
So either we're gonna get that in a Doctor Strange 3, which I feel based on everything that happens in this movie, I just feel like that's just such a kind of a downgrade. Like, do I really care right now about like what Mordo's doing?
it'd have to be
Not
a pretty
really.
big fucking deal at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Uh,
that was kind of a weird thing for me.
there was something else I was going to say about this movie that I thought was odd. The carry on. I don't know. I lost it.
We get our introduction to America Chavez, who is played by oh god.
I
I
don't know
gotta
how to
I gotta
pronounce her
pronounce I'm
name.
gonna click on her name because it gives me Sauchi Gomez. Yeah, it doesn't look like that's how it's pronounced, but I'm
No.
reading Wikipedia and that's how it breaks it down. So I
Okay.
apologize for mispronouncing your name.
I
She's
have
only
no idea who that character.
16.
I have no idea who that
Like she was
character is.
America Chavez. I know she's not very old in Marvel Comics.
She a fairly
It's
new character then, huh?
yeah, and her powers are literally she can open portals to the multiverse. That's the whole point of her kind of being here.
Mhm.
Wanda. So Wanda is the villain of this movie. Her whole thing is that she wants to take America's powers so that she can travel to a universe where her kids exist. Because in WandaVision, she creates her children because she wants to have a family with Vision. Another giant plot hole. At the end of WandaVision, you get White Vision. All right, who now has the conscious. Well, he's slowly remembering who he is. Where's he at? Do this entire thing. Where's Vision? Why is that not a thing? Like, I don't understand how you set all that up in WandaVision, and then we get to this movie, and we get nothing.
A great question.
So that was
fantastic question.
Yeah, that was something that really, like, at the end of it, I was like, what was the point of that? Yeah.
Go
ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the giant tentacle monster that attacks in the streets is not whatever shitty name they gave him for this for copyright reasons. It's fucking Shumagorath, and you can suck my ass, copyright holders. So
wait, what?
So when America Chavez has first
No, I
appears
know the
in
monster, but like, I need to know the story behind the copyright.
Okay, so the character's original name is Shumagorath.
Uh-huh.
He's a mystical being thing like you see in the show, whatever. Not made by Scarlet Witch. He's an old, just supernatural character.
Right.
His name Shumagorath is based on a character, or the name is from a character from the Conan universe. And
Conan.
exactly. So when they did that, they re-released it, but they gave him another name because there was some fucked up dumb shit with the copyright, so they couldn't use the name. And I'm like, they didn't even call him the name. Anyway, it's just for like the toys and marketing and stuff. They had to show the name, but it's Shumagorath. So
Okay. So the scares, really like the kills in this movie. Like Dan said, that they're just like, just the scene where Wanda wipes out the Illuminati one by one. And when she, John Krasinski, Mr. Fantastic, says, was talking to her, and she asks him if he has children, and he says, I do. And then she asks, do they have a mother? And he's like, yeah. And she's just like, well, I guess she's going to be taking care of him then.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, man.
Care of him.
Yeah.
Like,
and she literally puts him through like a paper shredder. That's kind of like what it looks like. He just kind of
dismantles him.
Yep. I'm like,
just
okay.
like unravels.
Yeah.
And his head pops.
Yeah.
Oh man. Black Bolt's though. So the guy who plays Black Bolt,
the same guy from the
awful Inhuman show. Yeah. I can't remember.
He was in Crossroads with Britney Spears.
I think he's in the new Star Trek show that's on Paramount Plus, Strange New Worlds. But yeah, his death is ridiculous. Like the fact where he's just like, yeah, he could kill you with,
a whisper.
With a whisper, and she's like, with what mouth? And he doesn't have a mouth. And then his freaking his head just pops.
He freaks out and screams, and his eyes go red, like just fill with blood.
Oh man, what? It's so graphic.
Dude.
This is how you make a graphic kill in PG-13.
Yep,
that's exactly how you did it. Thank you, Sam Raimi.
You have
so good.
Captain Carter, who just gets sliced in half by the shield. Clearly, she is not as good as Steve Rogers, because Steve Rogers knew how to catch his shield.
None of these people are as good as their
no, because I didn't think Captain Marvel could die, but clearly she could die by getting crushed.
Because Captain Marvel could like go toe to toe with fucking Thanos. So
yeah. Let's just say everybody in the Illuminati are just like B-rated versions of the heroes we've seen before. Because I mean, we haven't.
John Krasinski.
We don't have anything to reference him other than and oh man, he gets a pretty gruesome death too. I liked his wheelchair though, his little like full-on buggy thing he's got going on.
Yeah, it's like from the comics, and they even play the '90s X-Men theme.
Yes, they do. It was so good.
It was good stuff. It was good to see him in like that
I
again, and
I like
that's
how they so in the original X-Men movies, Patrick Stewart never like does the thing where he puts his hands up to his head to use his powers. He can just use them.
mhm.
But then when James McAvoy took over, he did the thing here. In this movie, he uses both his hands. They're like,
Yeah.
we gotta do it all, you know?
Yeah, and he just got the little ripples that come out
He's
of his
like,
head like in the old cartoon and the
yeah,
comics. Yep.
yep.
But then it reminded me of
It
Firestarter.
does.
Damn it, you've ruined it!
Yep. There was no fan, but you couldn't tell because he doesn't have hair.
Oh my
Mm.
goodness. But I gotta say the best part of this movie is when they land in this universe where the Illuminati are and they run into this pizza ball vendor. And who is it? But my boy Bruce Campbell, Ash Williams from the Evil Dead.
Bruce the Deuce.
Oh my god. And what spell does Doctor Strange put on him but a spell or makes where his hand is punching him and he can't control it, which is a throwback to Evil Dead 2, where his
Yep.
hand becomes possessed and he starts beating the shit out of himself. And
Yep.
I was so fucking giddy inside when it was happening.
I know, me too. I was like,
And,
oh,
and then to top it off, the after credits scene is him doing it, still doing it, and then it stops and he just looks dead at the camera and goes, "It's over. It's finally over."
Yeah.
It's like, yes.
I was very
Best part of the
excited
whole
about it
fucking
reference.
movie. I don't really give a shit about anything else. Bruce Campbell's cameo,
Yeah.
best cameo in a fucking movie.
When I
And it
seen
wa-
him, I was like, ah.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the fact that it was Bruce Campbell. You knew Bruce Campbell was going to be in this movie. It's a Sam Raimi
Oh,
movie. He always
absolutely.
makes
Absolutely.
cameos. I mean, he literally played 3 different characters in every Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they were like, you know what? Let's do the hand thing from Evil Dead 2. Let's just do that and see what people are going, like, if people will notice this. Because, like, you know, people who are just watching it as a Marvel movie, they don't give a shit. Me?
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
gave a
was
shit, man.
excited. I gave many shits.
But
Yeah, and she's like, "How long will that last?" He's like, 3 weeks.
yeah. It's just so good. It's just so good. So back to
Oh,
Doctor Strange now.
you seen the car too, right? The Oldsmobile?
I didn't. No, I didn't. Was that behind him?
No, when they go to the world after they have the incursion where the two universes collided with one another,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they're walking down the street and you just see the yellow Oldsmobile like spiraling in
Ah!
the air. I was like, oh, Evil
I
Dead.
missed it. Damn it. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm going to
it's
see this
okay.
movie again, so I'll be able to spot
Oh,
it out
yeah.
next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, y- like I said before, you feel Sam Raimi throughout this entire movie. I really appreciated it, especially based on the theme of this movie. You know, it
Mhm.
being like Dan, you said it. It's somebody being possessed by a book, which is literally the whole thing behind the Evil Dead movies.
Yep.
And it's, you know, the things that Wanda, you know, Wanda getting all of the crap that she gets for doing what she does, but it's like, yeah, does she go a little too far with what she's trying to do? Absolutely. But you know, it's not, you know, there's the scenes where where Professor X goes into her head and is trying to pull Wanda out of there because
Yeah.
Scarlet, you know, there's 2 different entities. There's Wanda Maximoff and then there's Scarlet Witch.
Mhm.
And it's funny. I think it's a great kind of, you know, ending where it's not Strange, it's not Wong, which we got to talk a little bit more about Wong because I love fucking Benedict Wong.
It was great.
You know, it's not America, which, you know, I didn't really care for her character. I just felt like
Yeah.
she was there because her power was she could open portals to the multiverse, and it was like,
She was a comeuffant
yeah.
or whatever they call that.
You know, it was Wanda herself who opens her eyes and shows her
Mhm.
like, you know, I will love them. You know, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm going to love them. You know, you just have to understand that.
Mhm.
And it kind of, you know, then she realizes what she needs to do, you know, when she destroys the Scarlet Witch. And I really appreciated that. I really like that it wasn't somebody else opening her eyes. You know, like everyone is trying to, Strange is trying to tell her everything. Like, I think the worst thing for him, or the worst thing he was doing, was telling her kids weren't real.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good thing to be telling some woman. So, not just the fact she's a woman, but trying to tell somebody who is so set in her way of trying to get to her children, and you're telling her that they're not real. That's not helping. It's
No.
making it worse. And it does in the movie itself. But the fact that it was her, you know, facing herself, and, that's a great way to, I think, end this movie. It wasn't like the end of most Marvel movies where it's the hero fighting the villain and they defeat the villain and that's it. She just realizes what she's doing isn't, doing any good. She realizes that she's gone way too far and that the book is fully controlling her. Because, I mean, when you've worked so hard to get to your children and then you get to them and they're scared of you,
Yep.
that's your mission
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
failed. So,
Yep.
but I really liked Wanda in this movie, even her, the evil side of her where, she's, it's, it's evil, but it's what she thinks is right, but also the book. Like, it's always going back to the Darkhold. The dark, she's just so into it. The book is wrapping itself around her so much that's right. Like, she even says it, like, Wanda's not here anymore. I'm the
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch.
Yep.
And I like that a lot. I like that whole arc of Wanda. I just wish
mean,
Vision was around. Like, I wish that they did something with that, because it makes no sense to do 6 episodes of a TV show and end it the way they did. And he doesn't even make a single appearance. He only gets mentioned once.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I
Movie's
know.
still good.
Yeah, she attempts to make things right, but I mean, she does help, but she still did what she did at the end of the day. So,
Oh yeah. And that's why she, when she realizes all the damage she's done,
mm-hmm.
she destroys her temple. She, you think she doesn't die. There's no way she's dead. But, she's just destroying any last bit of the Darkhold and the Scarlet Witch. So,
In like every universe, she gets rid of the Darkhold
yep.
in every alternate reality.
Yeah.
That's a lot of power to be able to do.
Yeah. I mean, it
So,
just shows. I mean, there was theories. I mean, you even look at it if you watch Endgame and you watch where she encounters Thanos in that final battle, and she has him, like, she could have killed him single handedly, could have just killed him, but she gets knocked out, which then releases her power over him. Like, there was literally, like, if she doesn't get knocked out in that movie, she kills Thanos and then the fight's over.
yep.
They all just run away. See you later.
Yep.
But
It's
it
true.
just shows how fucking, like, she is probably the most powerful person in the MCU.
Yeah, because she can alter reality and everything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. She can just do whatever.
What is it called where they can go?
What was it? Dream Walk? So they call it?
Dreamwalk,
Dreamwalk?
yeah.
Yeah, or she go a different. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how she is able to kill all the Illuminati, because she takes over another version of herself. You can only
Mhm.
take over of another version of yourself. So,
Yep.
That's why Doctor Strange has to take over the zombie version of himself.
Yeah, the dead
Because
the dead versions.
yeah, because that
Stay
was the only
alive.
one that was the only one that was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what great effects! So I loved the
Oh, yeah, that's
effects. I
great.
love the demon things kind of flying in and out of him, and him having to take control
Oh, yeah.
of them. And I mean, you see it in the trailer, but like when he freaking like opens up his arms and he's got like the 12 arms and he's got all the demons like flying around him like a big cape. That was such a cool shot. But when they zoom up on his face, when you zoom up on his face and you see all like his cheeks missing and stuff, like you really get that
Oh,
deadite,
yeah.
the deadite
yeah.
look, which I thought was great. I love Wong's reaction to the whole thing. He's just like, Strange. And then he gets up there and he's just like, I'm not even gonna ask.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was surprised Wong was in this movie as much as he was. I really thought he was gonna be killed in this movie.
Mhm.
Before I even saw it, I thought he was gonna die. I'm glad he
Yeah.
didn't, because I really like his
Yeah.
character. I think him and Strange have a really good relationship.
I
Oh,
agree.
I was happy to see Rachel McAdams back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love Rachel McAdams. I think she's a great actress, and I really like you see the one from the original Doctor Strange. She gets married. She kind of moves on from Strange himself, but then you meet the 838 version of her who works for the Illuminati, and I think her character, that version of the character I thought was really good, a good addition, being able to team back up with Strange and help stop everything. I thought was really cool. I think Mordo was kind of a waste.
Yeah.
I think he was like you said in the he was just a red herring.
Yeah,
That's all he was.
he
The
really throws you off.
Yeah, because that's what I thought. I was like, okay, when's he gonna do his thing? Like, when's he gonna? And like, oh, okay, so that wasn't it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is I'm fine with, but I was just expecting him to be the villain. So
Yeah, I 100% did when I first saw the trailer. Danny Elfman did the music for this. Not really surprised because he did the entire Spider-Man trilogy, and Sam Raimi gets signed on to do a movie, a superhero movie. You're going to be calling Danny Elfman come
yep,
in and do the thing, and you can hear it. It's you
Yeah.
always know that Danny Elfman tone
yep.
with
Yeah.
everything, and I love Danny Elfman. It's just keep letting him make more music for badass movies like this. But yeah, again, America Chavez. I think the actress Sochi, I think she did a good job
Hmm.
Mhm.
with the character. I didn't realize she was as young as she was. I thought she like, when you see a girl of, in these type of roles, you always think they're a little bit older playing somebody younger. This girl was 15 when they filmed this movie. So
Yeah.
I think she did a really good job
Yeah, that should pretty good.
for what she was given. But like I said before, like I feel like her character was just there because she can open portals to the multiverse, and it's like okay,
Mhm. Yep.
and Wanda
Yeah.
needs her power. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to go with that. I feel like they could have come up with any other way of finding a way to open up the multiverse. I mean, Strange opened up the multiverse in Spider-Man. So there could have been a way where Wanda goes after Strange to try to find the way, hey, how did you open the multiverse? And they have this battle like of him just saying, I don't want you to have that power. Well, you're gonna give it to me. Instead, we had to kind of add this new character
Mhm.
because she can do that power. You're like, okay.
And you got to fill out the MCU roster because these guys can't do it
Yeah.
forever, right?
But overall, I really had fun with this movie. I think it's if I mean as a multiverse movie, I think I enjoyed it probably as much as Spider-Man. I mean, I love Spider-Man as a character more than I like Doctor Strange, but I just like the Sam Raimi touches to this movie. The cameos were great. Strange was a good. I thought he was. Benedict Cumberbatch is definitely. I don't think
I
anyone could
love
really
Benedict
step.
Cumberbatch.
I don't think anybody could step into those shoes of Doctor Strange like Benedict
No.
Cumberbatch does. And I just love Elizabeth Olsen. I think she's fucking awesome, and she
So
plays
much
this
better
the
than her
way that
sisters.
I mean, I don't think her sisters give a shit. They're fucking richer than everybody. But I mean, just the fact that we've seen her. I mean, what since 2014 when she came into the MCU and Age of Ultron, and
Yeah.
just kind of the evolution of her, and just how she in Age of Ultron she felt like a kid. I mean, she kind of was a kid in that movie, and
Hmm.
you saw the powers that she had, but you didn't realize what she could become. And to see her in this and what she could do, and just how strong she is, not just powers wise, but like in her mind. Like she's just a very strong overall
She
character.
Oh yeah, yeah. In the comics, she's considered an Omega level mutant, which is the highest level mutant can be. Like she could destroy the world or
so
more. She wanted to.
She
Was at the end of Winter Soldier.
Yeah, she was at the end of Winter Soldier.
So 2014 was her first, and then 2015 was Ultron. So,
Yeah, so we've seen her for what, 8 years, and her there's a lot of evolution with her,
yes, sir. Yes,
and I
sir.
appreciate that. Wong's awesome. It's not a lot to talk about with Wong other than he kicks ass, and he gets his ass kicked a lot, but he still gets up every time because he's a beast.
He is a beast, dude.
Badass.
Can't stop him.
No,
Sorcerer Supreme, man.
a lot of gnarly
You mean
deaths.
you're not the Sorcerer Supreme?
Yeah.
No, not.
Yeah.
Overall, had a lot of fun with this movie. I definitely recommend it. If you can go see it in theaters, go see it in theaters.
Yes.
These movies are amazing to see on the big screen. If you have an IMAX near you, definitely go see it in IMAX. I really wish I had an IMAX near me because I would definitely go back and see this again in IMAX. But unfortunately, I don't. So,
I don't have anything close to us either.
Yeah, we don't have a near one near us.
All right. Do we have any closing comments on this before we get the heck out of here?
No.
No
Just
closing
go watch
comments for
Jurassic
you.
Park 3. That's about all you gotta do. After you watch this, go watch Evil Dead and then watch our review of Jurassic Park 3.
There you go. Do that. All of
Evil
that.
Dead 1 and 2.
You playing with a rubber band gun?
Well, don't forget to check out our episode 8 review of Halo that came out on Monday. And make sure to definitely check out our new podcast episode that's coming out on Friday, where we sat down and talked about the 1984 Firestarter. Next week on Fresh Cuts, we will be sitting down to talk about the remake of Firestarter that just came out on Peacock and in theaters on Friday the 13th. I'm very excited to watch it because it's got a lot of mixed reviews and mostly negative. But I'm very excited to sit down, and it's mostly going to be me watching it to see the differences because you know there's going to be differences between the original and the remake. But also, you know, I've kind of been excited to see this remake since they announced it. I don't know why. I just saw it. I was like, oh, okay, cool, Firestarter. But yeah, that'll be our next Fresh Cuts, which will be out next Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. Until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. We are Dissect That Film, and this has been Dissect That Film Fresh Cuts. We'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.